Two men walk into a bar. One is wearing a 10-gallon hat, the other has lupus. The bartender asks the man in the hat how he is doing. "I guess he's a regular." He says he's fine, he had just seen the movie Lord of the Flies. The bartender asks whether he means the 1963 one or the more recent one. "The more recent one," says the man in the 10-gallon hat. Then the bartender asks if he liked it any. He says it was okay, but he found the whole thing a little implausible, if not problematic. The bartender says, "Well, what's not problematic these days?" Then there's an awkward silence. You see, the man in the 10-gallon hat is black, and I guess he had a unique point of view watching the 1990 film adaptation of the novel Lord of the Flies. The bartender is Filipino. The silence lingers a little longer until the man in the 10-gallon hat breaks it by saying he liked the book better anyways. The bartender agrees, chuckles politely, then asks him what he'll be having. "A Manhattan, in a tall glass," he says. The bartender gets to making it right away and asks him if he's seen the movie Wonder Boys, the one from the year 2000. The black man in the 10-gallon hat stirs his Manhattan a little bit as he thinks about whether or not he has seen the movie Wonder Boys. Then he asks the Filipino bartender who's in it. Bartender tells him Michael Douglas, Robert Downey Jr., Francis McDormand, Tobey Maguire is also in it. Oh, and a Rip Torn too, briefly. He's in it as well. The man in the 10-gallon hat is like, "Wow, that sounds like a great cast, but I definitely haven't seen Wonder Boys." Bartender tells him the cast was the reason he rented it, but it turned out to be the worst kind of pretentious 2000s movie about elite white professional class people having complicated lives. It reminded him of the movie Imaginary Heroes, in terms of tone and atmosphere, not necessarily plot. The man in the hat says, "Oh yeah, I don't like those movies. I feel like American Beauty was the movie that started that whole thing, but that was the 90s and that movie was actually pretty dope." Then the bartender is like, "You know, you might be right about that. American Beauty is still one of my favorite movies though." Then the man in the 10-gallon hat recoils and says American Beauty is actually problematic for an entirely different set of reasons than Lord of the Flies. The bartender sighs and turns around to take the order of the man with lupus, but he is dead. Dead as a doorknob. A disabled patron service dog was upset by the bar noise and mauled the weakest looking person in the room.